Okay. We back. It's Trev Moreau, Play to Win Boxing. You know how we do, man. We here. Wanted to recap a little bit late. This past weekend's Riyadh season came to LA um, with Turkey Al-Sheikh threw on a great fight card. It's one of the best fight cards you'll probably see in boxing. Probably the best fight card I've seen in the past 10 years, easily. Um, Eminem performed, and it wasn't corny, it wasn't sketchy, it was dope, actually. So we had everything. We had a great fight card, some upsets, some good controversial matches. So gave the fans a lot to desire and look forward to. Turkey Al-Sheikh, Your Excellency, said he's going to bring more events to the United States, and I can't wait. Um, as far as the fights themselves, I'll do a quick breakdown. Um, let's start with the main event with my favorite fighter, Terrence Bud Crawford, uh, moving up to 154. This is his fourth weight class, and he passed the test with flying colors against a tough, determined Israel Madrimov. Um, this was Madrimov's 12th fight, I think. I think he had 300 to 400 amateur fights. So this fight was well deserved. I think people were sleeping on Madrimov, like he shouldn't have been in the ring. He comes from Uzbekistan School of Boxing. His sparring partners are Dmitry Bivol, a whole host of others, world-class fighters who have amateur pedigree like no other. But Crawford did his thing, man. Crawford said he felt good moving up from 47 to 54. I wanted to see how he would take Madrinov's punch, but Madrinov, for the most part, was feinting a lot. He didn't let his hands go enough. I saw the matchroom, the zone announcers like Sergio Mara, who I respect. They were kind of sliding Crawford, and I saw on the replays of like all the highlights was Madrimov's, and I'm like, do they see the same fight I'm watching? Because Crawford is scraping this guy with hooks to the body and combos like crazy, and he's moving. So I like what Sean Porter said. Sean Porter said, "Hey, man, I got this fight 6-1. It's Crawford's." But long story short, it was a chess match. It was some good action. Crawford showed that he could fight a bigger guy, and the weight didn't really bother him. I think there was a lot of blowback coming to Crawford because he his fights haven't gone the distance since 2016. So his last 11 fights has not gone the distance. He's KO'd everybody, and he's made it look very easy. So I knew the first time a fight wouldn't look so easy. Oh, he lost, or it was close. That fight wasn't close, man. I had that 8-4, uh, respectfully. Um, Madrinov, like I said, he didn't let his hands go enough, for me at least. Um, he was posturing a lot. And a lot of the reason why he didn't let his hands go is the times he did, he didn't like what was coming back. And Crawford at 54 could still crack. I saw those shots. He almost stopped Madrimov a couple of times with those body shots, but Madrimov was determined and he held on. Um, but Israel, from time to time, would hit Crawford with some right hands, some looping shots. And I think Crawford, I've been saying this for a long time. Crawford, the last few years, he's rather fight southpaw than orthodox, and I think in this fight he should have did more orthodox than southpaw. It would have served him much better. Um, but like he did in the Spence fight, he started off orthodox, then he immediately switched to southpaw, and that's how he fought the whole fight. And I think he wanted to take Madrimov's jab away, sort of like he did to Spence. And that's what he did. But he got susceptible to a couple of rights. He had a mouse over his right eye. But that was really it. He passed this test with flying colors. And I think Madrimov was probably the toughest guy at 54. I think Crawford should forget about Canelo, just try to unify the 154 weight class. And this will be his third undisputed weight class if he does so. You know what I mean? And that will put him in some rare air. I don't think anyone has been undisputed or a unified three weight divisions in the history of boxing. So that would put him in some rare air. Yes, he's getting a little older. He wants the Canelo fight to cash out, but why chase uh, Canelo? And I think Canelo, the past 2, 3 years, he's been ducking. You know, I love Canelo. I respect him a whole bunch. Great fighter. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's been ducking. Let's keep it real. Ever since Dimitri Bivol beat him, which he didn't think was going to happen, he's been ducking and taking easier fights. And his way out of these fights, like the Benavidez fight, is, oh, they have to pay me 200 million. Really? The most I think Canelo has ever made is 40 million. He hasn't even made 50. So who's going to pay you 200 million? You pricing yourself out because you ducking. Then he says, "Oh, I like Crawford. He's actually my favorite fighter, but for me to fight him, I need 150 million." Really? And Crawford's the smaller guy. He's moving up 4 weight classes. And to fight you, he'd have to move up another 2. Really? So that is what it is. I think Crawford should stay at 154. There's some great fights there. You got Fundora. You got Charlo. He said he's coming back. Tim Zoo is still there. So Crawford is definitely going to have to put down another 3 guys to get the unification bout. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And Bud, if anybody could do it, it's Bud, man. I ain't putting nothing past Terrence Crawford because he a dog, bro. He a free smoke fighter. I saw Boots there, Boots Ennis. Shout out to Boots and Bozy. But I think Crawford don't want to fight Boots because it's too much risk, low reward. Yeah, the fight will make a little bit of money, but to Crawford, it don't make no sense. He's at 54 now. He would drain his body to death trying to get back to 47. And to fight a younger guy still in his mid 20s at the peak of his powers, not saying Crawford can't beat Boots, but somebody's going to take some damage in that fight, and they won't be the same fighter after that fight. So Crawford is basically saying he's going to finish up this era, and he'll leave Boots' era to Boots, and that's fair, and that's fair in my eyes because Boots is at 47. I think if Boots moves to 54, he'd be at a disadvantage because I think Crawford might be the stronger fighter at this point. So, like I said, that was the Crawford Madrimov fight. Moving on to the co-main with Pitbull Cruz and Jose Valenzuela. Great fight by Rayo. Rayo won. I know Pitbull, he was in his backyard. He was in LA. But Pitbull lost. He lost. And I had a feeling he was going to lose because Pitbull was explosive, but he has problems with boxer punchers, guys who have ring generalship, who know their way around the ring, guys who could adapt, use footwork, have some skill. Pitbull just comes forward, tries to land big shots and get you in a chaotic mess. You know what I mean? And that could work for fighters like Rolly, but not fighters like Rayo, you know, or guys like Shakur Stevenson, and that's why he hasn't fought Stevenson. So I thought Pitbull lost that fight. Same deal, 8-4. You know, Jose won that. So and he took Pitbull's belt at 135. Great fight to him. So let's go down the line. And this is the fight that I was most interested in of the night. Jared, the real Big Baby Miller, against Martin Bacoli. And I told anyone who would listen, Bacoli is dangerous, and I thought he'd win the fight. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, Trev. I never heard of this dude. He a black Scottish. He a black dude from Scotland. He ain't winning nothing. I said Bacoli's a knockout artist, bro. And that loss on his record is when he was a little green, but he's been better since. Same thing I said. From as soon as the bell rung, I was like, man, this is gonna be a tough night for Anderson because Bacoli comes into the ring weighing 280, 290. He's big as a wall. But he reminds me of a young George Foreman, where his hands are faster than you think, and he hits you with sharp punches. It's not just he's wailing away. He has skill. He puts his stuff together well, and he has great punch placement. So from the opening bell, he was giving Anderson problems. And the thing about Anderson is, if you look at Anderson's latest interviews, even he had that moment with Roy Jones, I think it was on Top Rank on ESPN. He has one foot in boxing and one foot out of it. I don't even think he cares too much about boxing. I think if he didn't get paid to do it, he wouldn't give a shit about it. And in boxing, you can't play boxing, bro. You could play baseball, you could play basketball, you could play football. You can't play boxing. And that's just as simple as that. And with that said, I haven't seen no improvement from Anderson in the past 3 fights. He's just been regressing, if you ask me, against lesser opponents. And yeah, and when that happens, there's gonna be that guy that's on the upswing, and he's gonna humble you a little bit, and that's what happened to Anderson. But I still think Anderson is young enough if he puts the work in to make a comeback, and this will just be a lesson, a learning one. But if he continues down this road where he's just prize fighting for the hell of it and not really caring about the sport and going through the motions, yeah, this is the beginning of the end for him at 24. And Bacoli was talking spicy. He said he's not he's heard Usyk and Dubois in sparring. And he keeps saying that. And I haven't heard either Usyk or Dubois say it's a lie. So I have to think that's probably the truth. And Bacoli's that guy's fist. If he grazes you, you're going down. So he's a dangerous guy in the heavyweight division, to say the least. So that was a great fight. It went 5 rounds. It was a good stoppage, and that was that. But so what's the next fight? Big Baby Miller against Andy Ruiz. I think Big Baby got robbed. I had that fight. I had that fight 7-5. Big Baby. He won it. It shouldn't even have been a split decision, to be honest with you. Both fighters got tired in the later rounds, but I think Big Baby did more. He was more active. He let his hands go a little bit more than Andy did. I think Andy, uh, I think he suffered a cracked hand. That happens in boxing. He broke his hand. Um, but yeah, people were talking about they want to see a rematch. I've seen enough of that fight. I don't want to see a rematch. I think what should happen next is Big Baby Miller should fight Jared Anderson for that name in a comeback fight, and that'd be a good fight. And I think that should happen next. Um, Other than that, I saw the Morrell fight. Morrell looked decent. He didn't really do much to a lesser opponent. Um, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Turkey Al Sheik, though, he threw a great event. I saw the fireworks. He had the stars out. So it was dope, man. It was dope. I think this was his first card here in America. And I can't wait to see what they have next. And, Turkey, he got that checkbook. So if he wants you, these fighters are gonna fight. And I like what he's doing to boxing, because for the last 10 years, the UFC has been killing boxing, because the UFC has a strategy where they give the fans the fights that the fans want to see. And boxing, all you see these guys do is fight over Twitter. And the fans are the ones who lose out. And these promoters are being greedy, hiding fighters and cherry picking their fighters with these easier fights. So hopefully he comes in, he cleans up boxing a little bit, and he gets everybody on the same page. That'll be dope. But I got Crawford still as my pound for pound. Canelo is fighting Edgar Berlanga from New York. He bypassed the Crawford fight. He bypassed the Benavidez fight, and he wants to fight Berlanga. I don't think Berlanga has done anything to earn the fight. So I think this is another cherry pick by Canelo Alvarez. And I don't know if he feels like his body is getting older or he doesn't want to take these big fights, but this is a cherry pick, man. Like, Canelo is going to win this fight, and people are going to start asking, like, hey, man, Ever since Dmitry Bivol, you haven't fought anybody really. You know what I mean? So um, unless Berlanga he catches him with something early, I see that either going 12 rounds or Canelo in a late stoppage. I saw the press conference; it was fireworks. It went off the rails a little bit. They were cursing at each other in Spanish. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up. That's just my take on this week's past events in boxing. As usual, hit me with the thumbs up. It costs you nothing. Support the page. You could even hit me with the thumbs down, man. Somebody gotta be mad about something anyway, right? But hit me with the thumbs up. Support the channel. Subscribe. Let me know if you want to get notifications, and just join the channel, man. I got some new and dope stuff coming. I'm gonna be going to a few future events, press conferences, getting more interviews, and we're gonna keep it like that. And I'm gonna have some special giveaways in the near future. So tap in with me, man. Play to win boxing. Trevor Monroe. Peace.